diabetes on a plate. Like, I would make like huge judgments like that about people without really knowing them, at all, really. Like, I would actually feel bad about gaining a pound. Another thing that Held at Every Size emphasizes is how a huge part of why you are the size you are is due to your genetics. There are like countless studies that indicate this, where like people will look at children who become adults who were adopted into families, and then like look and see, okay, like is their weight more similar to their adopted family, or is their weight more similar to their biological parents? And study after study finds that the weight that you end up being as an adult is much more similar to the weight of your biological parents. Anyways, the book talks about how genetics plays an enormous role, and if not like the majority of the reason that you are the weight that you are. And so keeping that in mind is also like a good thing to keep in mind. Like, I am the weight I am most likely because this is like the weight range that I'm like genetically predisposed to fall into. That being said, obviously what you do to your body does make a difference, but it's much harder for certain people to lose or gain weight than it is for other people. Something that a lot of people talk about when they talk about staying body positive is not comparing yourself to other people. And I feel like that is something that is a lot easier said than done. Of course, if we could not compare ourselves to others, we would, but it's also natural for us to do that. And so like, I guess want to preface my advice by saying it's not as easy as just not comparing yourself to other people. However, what I feel like does make a difference in staying more body positive is making a conscious effort to not judge other people. And then in doing that and trying to not judge other people, you end up not comparing yourself to other people. So like this, and I used to do this heavily. I used to judge other people about like the way that their body looked or the way that they looked in certain clothing. Like I would think to myself, obviously I would never say these things out loud, but I would think to myself, oh my God, that person looks awful in that shirt. It's way too small for them, or like whatever, this person looks enormous. Why is that person eating, that enormous piece of cake and ice cream after having a huge meal? Oh my God, like how could they do that to themselves? Like that's diabetes on a plate. Like I would make like huge judgments like that about people without really knowing them, at all, really. When I was making those judgments about other people, those judgments were then being projected back on myself. So once I started making a conscious effort to stop judging other people and to be like, well, maybe this person hasn't eaten all day. Like maybe that's why they're eating all this food. Like I'm genetically predisposed to be the weight I am. I'm sure this person is also genetically predisposed to be the weight that they are. Maybe this person like is wearing this tiny shirt because A, they like the way it looks, or B, because they ran out of clean clothes. Like just trying to, instead of looking at people and being like, oh my God, like how could you be like that? How could you dress like that? How could you do whatever? Just taking a step back and being like, this is a human being. We all go through things. I don't know what this person is going through. And there's nothing wrong with the way that they are, like the size that they are, or the things that they're eating, in terms of like caloric intake. And I'm not this person, so I can't sit here and be like, oh my God, they're eating diabetes on a plate. Like I can't sit here and do that. And once I let go of that, or like at least try to make conscious effort, like if I found myself making that kind of a judgment about another person, just like holding it back, consciously making an effort to change my thinking, to change that thought that was going through my head and be like, no, this person doesn't look horrible right now. They're meant to be like that, and I have no right to judge them. So once I let go of judging other people, I was able to judge myself more kindly and judge myself more accurately, because I wasn't making like rash judgments about other people. So instead of saying like don't compare yourself to other people, I would say don't judge other people, because then not judging other people will reduce the judgment that you put on yourself. Another way to stay body positive is to let go of focusing on weight. This is also something that the author talked about in Health at Every Size. Let go about focusing on weight, and don't focus on I need to be a certain weight, but focus on I need to be healthy. If I have high cholesterol, eat lower cholesterol foods. Like, generally speaking, make healthier choices. Be aware of what your options are. It says make it a habit to eat healthier. But when you have the desire to eat something that is unhealthy or that has bad ingredients in it, don't punish yourself, and don't make it so that like you are telling yourself you must not eat this thing or else like you're awful. Let the focus of your improvement and your change in yourself be on your health as opposed to your weight. And that's definitely a way to stay more body positive and be like, well, I'm actually an extremely healthy person, although I might be technically overweight, which I think I'm technically overweight. I think I'm like on the line between like normal weight and overweight. So while like some chart out there tells me that I'm overweight, I actually know what I put into my body, and I know how much I exercise, and I know that I'm a healthy person. And once you can like let go of the focus on weight, or the focus on like fitting into a certain dress that you used to fit into, or the focus on your leg circumference, or the focus on what your cellulite looks like and how much you have, when you let go of those things and you start focusing on am I putting healthy things into my body? Am I getting enough exercise? And not setting like outlandish exercise goals either. Once you can start doing those things, you can shift your mindset to be a lot more positive about the way that you look and the way that you are. Another way to stay body positive amidst a weight gain is try focusing on the things that you like about your body. Like if insecurity is something you're struggling with, and you can't help that you hate the cellulite on your legs. You can't help that you don't like the double chin you now have. Like sometimes it's easy for me to sit here and be like, just be positive and like don't compare yourself to other people and don't judge other people. But sometimes that's like you have to go through a transition phase, and it's not going to be smooth sailing the whole time, and you're not going to just all of a sudden love your body. So when you are dealing with that insecurity, one thing that helps me is to focus on and like consciously think about the things about my body that I do like, and the things about the way I look that I do like, and even writing those things down like on a regular basis, especially when you're feeling that sort of like self-criticism in your head. It's just like your internal voice is talking to yourself, being like, ugh, you look so bad in this, ugh, whatever. In those moments or soon thereafter, making a list of like the things about your body that you like, and like the things that your body can do. Like, every single day I walk myself from here to school, and that's something that my body can do, and I'm thankful for that ability. Things like that, like being thankful for what you have and focusing on the things about yourself that you do like in the moments when you feel insecure. Another thing I would do to remain body positive is do not fill your Instagram with FITSPERATION. This is something that I used to do when I was like in my restrictive eating, obsessive exercising phase of my life, which was way too long. When I would feel like I'm losing control of my weight, or I need to start like working out more because I've been so bad this past week, or I need to stop eating so much because I've been so bad and I gained a pound. Like, I would actually feel bad about gaining a pound, and I would like feel like I'm failing at life because I gained a pound, and I would weigh myself every day. Anyway, so when I would feel like that, which was like most days because I'd weigh myself all the time, I would then go to Instagram and I would look up like FITSPERATION, or like find people's Instagrams that of like personal trainers and stuff, and like look at some of the exercises they do, and like look at the pictures of their body transformation or something like that. And I would fill my Instagram with like FITSPERATION in an effort for myself to become more fit, even though I was already fit. And And I don't think that that was healthy at all, because that doesn't help in like your effort to not compare yourself to other people and to not judge other people. You can judge somebody in like a quote unquote positive way, like, wow, they have such an amazing body, they must work so hard, even though a lot of the time it's like genetics with a lot of exercising. Because like, you know, other people might exercise just as much as this person does and not look like that. That's something to keep in mind. And so I would be like, wow, this person is amazing, they look so good, like they must put so much effort in, or, you know, it must be so easy for them to look the way that they look, stuff like that. And so I had FITSPERATION, which was actually just making me feel bad about the way that I looked, and about the weight that I am. And, you know, it's okay to have, like, I would say, you know, you don't want to have FITSPERATION of just people posting pictures of their body, or like just people posting like, you know, their workouts or something like that, with no recognition of like the imperfections that we all have. I've found certain people on Instagram that, you know, they do post a lot of pictures of their like well-toned body and stuff like that, but then they also talk about like the fat rolls that we all have when we sit, and like show, you know, they show the real them along with like an idealized version of them. And so that kind of stuff is not the kind of stuff I'm telling you to avoid. Basically, I'm saying don't just start looking and following Instagram pages of FITSPERATION that are just going to continue to make you feel worse about yourself and about whatever goal you haven't been able to achieve. And another thing, I think probably the last thing I would say for being more positive, more body positive, is to just like spend time being thankful to God for what you do have, for the things that you have. And it's easy to get caught up in dwelling on the things that you don't have, but when we actually sit back and think about all the things that we do have in the realm of like our body and our body's abilities, and you know, the way that we look, and being thankful for like the endowments that God has given us, it can really change your mindset on how you view your body. Because you know, if I sat here and it was just like, oh my God, I have so much cellulite on my legs, which by the way I do. I have a double chin, I have like chubby arms, all my weight goes to my face, you know, stuff like that, which I could do and I used to do. Instead of focusing on the fact that, you know, I have 2 legs that work, and you know, I'm strong enough to walk from my house to the nearby pharmacy and back, and just like the other abilities that my body has given me. I have a mind that works. I use my mind as part of my body. I have certain things about my appearance that I do like, thankfully. When I focus on the things that I'm thankful for, that I'm glad that I have, that I'm glad are a part of my body, and I'm glad are a part of my abilities, and I'm glad that I'm glad that my body has given me the ability to do these things. Instead of focusing on the negative things, focusing on the positive things and what I'm thankful for, and what you know, I'm glad that God has given me, then I have the ability to change my mindset and my attitude about my body to a more positive one. It's harder to do these things, so it's either easier said than done. So when you are finding that one of these exercises or one of these things that I'm saying is easier said than done, then that's like a time that I would suggest that you write this down, or that you write these things down. So if you're trying to focus on the things about your body that you do like, write that down. If you're trying to focus on what about your body and what about the way that you look you're thankful for, and you're thankful that God has given you, then write those things down so that you can either refer back to them when you are feeling down, or like add to the list, etc. Sometimes writing things down kind of makes them more concrete. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I come out with new videos every Tuesday, so I'll hopefully be uploading again next week. So let me know if you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to leave in the comments. I would love to hear experiences that you all have had and ways that you've managed to remain body positive. So anyway, I will see you guys next week, and yeah, bye.